back to Past Left Drafts. We are on the final round of our very first draft, M21. If you want to have a look at the draft portion, you should be able to see a link to it on your screens right now. And we are going to be showcasing the very final match of the two players who have won both their previous two rounds. So we have Joe versus Dan, and we have up on your screen now Joe's deck list. Fergus, do you want to talk us through this?
Yep, so this is a deck we've seen a few times. We saw it drafted, we've seen it played in round 1, we saw the highlights in round 2. The deck is simple. It plays low to the ground cards that ask a question of your opponent, and the question is, can Dan answer that and respond with the deck that he's playing with? Simple, really.
Yeah, and we saw in the first round that he took the controversial choice of running 42 lands, with maybe he's hedging against those Teferi's tutelage decks, I don't know, but he's running 16 lands, 42 cards, so it is a pretty low to the ground aggro deck. Dan, on the other hand, currently he's not dropped a game. His deck is all about big creatures and removal, and that is exactly what you want in draft. You can see here the only rare he's running is Volcanic Salvo, that can take out 2 of pretty much anything on the field. And he's also got 2 Soulseer, 2 Turn to Slag, a Scorching Dragonfire, and some other just really useful spells. The creatures that he's got, Leafkin Avenger, we saw in the first round, in the highlights of his first round, that it was the key card in those 2 games that he played, winning both the games for him, but a lot of those other creatures in there are able to put the damage across the opponent by themselves as well. So I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Both players have showed really strong decks throughout this competition. And do you have any money on who's going to win here?
Yeah, so I think I'm backing Dan on this one, and the reason is that in an aggro versus mid-range matchup, I kind of favour mid-range a bit. It's got a kind of a slightly higher curve. It's going to be able to stabilize that board nicely and just bring bigger creatures. Joe's deck's going to have to move quick, and he's kind of going to need Dan to stumble and not find those middle of the board creatures and bodies that force him to go wide. But I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we've seen the power of Joe's deck when it just comes out those gates and it just smashes the opponent straight away. Have to say, if you're not going against the red-white deck, it must be a pretty good Gruul deck coming from down here.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, let's have a look at the first game. Okay, so first hand from Joe here. Doesn't look very good. He's going to have to take a mulligan, and it looks like it's going to be another one here. He's had these issues throughout the games, but he's managed to claw it back in the past. Going down to 5 here. 2 lands.
4 or 5. This isn't bad. Oh, I'd keep the second Arsonist over the Unleashed Fury.
But he's got a 1-drop, 2-drop. In fact, he's got 2 2-drops. So
Yeah, I know, but Unleashed Fury is not a good card.
he's going to want to go fast, and
speaking.
the Unleashed Fury does help him go fast a certain amount.
I guess, but I mean, his creatures have 1 power. I'm not sure that's why I want to double. I don't know. I'd have kept the Arsonist for the extra body.
Yeah, and Dan getting that SNES spinner down there, just providing a huge roadblock. It's going to really stop him from getting those really fast red-white starts that we've seen him in the previous 2 rounds.
And I think this is going to be the problem for during this matchup. Even with a 1-drop into a 2-drop, the green deck that Dan's playing is it just needs to put down something with a big butt.
Yeah,
you're in trouble.
Now he's got something that can attack in there. It's not going to do a huge amount, but he's 1 card up in hand. He's got 2 bigger creatures in play.
Yep, and the Arsonist trades it with it. I just want to make a point here because I like to make my point. I'd rather have the Arsonist here than the Unleashed Fury because you could drop it down and it could block the Stalker.
Yeah, but he wasn't going to know what was actually going to come out and things like that. If he didn't have a SNES, then he just had some kind of 2/2 down there, it would have been a different starting position.
I guess. I think my feeling is driven by the fact that like Unleashed Fury is situationally good, whereas Goblin Arsonist is always going to be fine.
I mean, it's a 1/1. It does 1 damage. There's nothing on the board there which is actually going to it's going to kill.
I mean, it'll kill the Stalker in the middle.
Yeah, only if he blocks at the Stalker.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, don't know. I don't think the difference is massive.
There's this point where you would think, well, yeah, he's going to block the Stalker, but Dan's almost definitely got some kind of trick in hand there.
Yeah, I think you have to block the Stalker, so you've no choice. You can't win the race, I don't think.
So what's this going to be?
Do something a bit crazy.
Clearly got something.
I know, but you expect something.
That's a hell of a bluff if he's not got anything.
It's doing the hovering
Yeah.
thing. That usually means it does something. Yep.
Okay, so one of
Yep.
those
I
many,
mean,
many
that's fine.
removal spells that we've seen.
You know you're in a bad spot when your opponent is using 3 mana removal on your 2 mana creature and you're still very sad about it. Like, that's very much a bad situation to be in.
Getting the life back there as well. Ooh, this might be a little bit useful for him here. Makes it into a 3/5.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's a 3/5 that has to attack.
Yeah.
Which is
If you can find a
obviously
way to
the
turn on the double
drawback of
strike,
Fury.
that Unleashed Fury will put a lot of damage through. So
Yep.
it'll be an 8 power double
It's
striker.
anyway.
Still not going to quite get there, but there's another removal spell.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
dead, so you know. Oh
Just a
dear, oh
huge
dear, oh dear.
roadblocks
Yep.
straight away from him. Just stopped him from doing anything.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is this deck? I mean, it doesn't really have a ton of reach anyway. But when your opponent stops you attacking before they even
Yeah.
take any damage, you have a bad time as a red deck. Nice draw though. We've got some removal. Simplifies it to a 1/3. Gives Joe some time to kind of soak at the board. Hobble Fiend isn't that threatening.
It's not a
Yeah,
first,
Pitch
but
Devils.
it does get
Game's
there.
over. Yep. Pride Malkin.
I think I might put the counter on the snare spinner there actually, because the Hobble Fiend's already got trample by itself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, you have a 2
Yeah.
forward trample. But yeah, I guess. I think maybe I just want more power on the creature you're going to attack with.
I suppose you can now
Goodness,
feed the
huge.
snare spinner to the Hobble Fiend, and you could even feed the Pride Malkin to the Hobble Fiend as well. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
a bit aggressive. I guess you do that in response to removal, but although the removal's going to be
It just
pointed at
means
Hobble
that
Fiend, so.
because if the Pride Mountain grows, then the Snare Spinner would lose trample if I had the counter on it, whereas the Hobble Fiend's naturally got trample.
That's true.
Oh, there it is, Leafkin Avenger.
Yeah, the Avenger is here. That's not great news.
Don't think he can activate it just yet. It needs 8 mana to activate, and he's only got access to 6 because he gets the 1 mana from the Leafkin Avenger itself.
I don't think he needs to activate it, to be honest with you.
He doesn't need to, but it's definitely something that you would like to. Oh,
that's fine.
And Scorched Dragonfire exiles as well, so
But
he
the
doesn't even get
Avenger's
the dice trigger off that.
Oh, he doesn't.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh
Just
dear.
had the upper hand from the very first turn there, even before the first turn with Joe's double mulligan.
Better creatures and better removal, and we kind of see. So one of the problems with Joe's deck, which we kind of saw through the draft, which is Joe's playing a few cards which he might not necessarily have wanted to play, and they're a bit more situational than you might like, because it wasn't entirely clear which way he was supposed to pivot into.
Yeah, it's obviously done alright so far, but I think just when it's coming up against a solidly strong, very nice mid-range, big creatures, lots of removal deck, he's going to struggle. As if his opponent draws okay, he's going to struggle. If his opponent stumbles a little bit, then he does manage to come back and really apply the pressure. See, this hand's a lot better. No creatures, but well, he's got one 3-drop creature, but he can shock quite early in the game, and he's got a few other things. If he gets a nice 2-drop in there, dropping a Fury Bitten or something onto it could prove to be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, you'll definitely need a draw to make this good. If you're playing nothing till turn 3, that's not what you want to see. This is not actually that great. Because Fury is dead card, Defiance is dead card, until creatures are played.
Yeah.
Shock's nice,
I think he was kind
but
of
it can end
wanting
up
Dan to
using
play the
the
creature by
enemy.
now so he could shock the creature.
Yeah, absolutely. I had no other creatures to apply any pressure, so.
This is making shock.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing to see.
The Pitchburn Devils, so.
You probably play Favour of the Bitten here.
Just load it up.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the way to go.
Oh, I think I'll definitely define strike. Only because it draws a card. He's deciding. He decided against it.
I mean, you can play it next turn. Although that stops you playing Pitchburn Devils. So.
Yeah, and that would be giving him another chance to get that land for that Pitchburn Devils. It's not a great card, Pitchburn Devils, but it's something they can play. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what you were afraid of if you were Joe. Yeah. That's really bad. That's really, really bad.
Yeah.
That's even worse. And makes you wish you'd played Defiant Strike and draw a card.
Absolutely.
Right, well, we'll see where we go here.
Dan's thinking about it. He's down in the tank.
Card advantage.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what's in his hand.
Might have to do some
I
clever
would
editing
love
and
to know
feature
what's
it
in
so
his
we can
hand.
see what's
Let's
going
hear
on
it.
both sides of the board. But I do quite like not being able to know and kind of viewing it from one person's side. So, keeps a bit of the mystery in there.
Also, we'll look like it. We'll look even more stupid if you can see Dan's hand while we commentate and we can't.
Bit of a roadblock in there. Yeah.
This
I
is
mean,
this
it
is
still can kind of
horrendous.
go either way,
This
but
is
with the amount
not
of cards Dan's got in hand there, I really don't like Joe's odds.
well, absolutely. No, I don't either. You really wanted another land there to get these Pitchburn Devils down. This game is
Does he
seriously
have a fifth
sliding
land?
away from Joe here.
He's not got the Llanowar Visionary, but just Dan's obviously
So
digging
what's
for
that?
land a little bit, playing the Llanowar Visionary to try and get the. Oh! Now, this is kind of what Joe wants, actually.
That's
Gets a bit
yeah.
of a 2 for
This
1.
plays into Joe's hands absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it just gets a 2 for 1, right? Like I'd be tempted to have thrown a Fire Strike away to draw a card because you
Well,
just really want
I
five.
think because
Five.
he knew his opponent only had a 2-2 on the other side of the field, that he would hold the Defiant Strike until this turn. I think I might have cast it
Yeah,
there.
I do understand that.
Oh, there's the land. So he's now got 6 mana.
My vote's coming with 6 mana.
No
What do I not know?
Colossal Dreadmore on the deck that I saw. Oh, it's a snare spinner.
Oh, it's Castle Judgment. Oh, that's not quite
That
as
can be
scary.
scary. We've seen a lot of
We'll go to it.
removal spells and stuff in his deck. Non-creature spells which
Yeah,
can
see,
pump it up a little
damage
bit.
is a lot to get through. I draw a card. You just want to land so badly here. You want to play Pitchburn Devils.
Oh, no.
Oh, you just. I think. I'm not. I think at some point in these last 3 turns,
Yeah, well, that's
you
what
have
he's
to play
doing
the
here.
Fine Strike with two
He's
five
swinging
drops in your
through.
hand. God,
Dan's
there's a
down to
quick land's
6.
not coming there
It's
as
going to be hard
well.
to get
So
those last few points of damage through, but Magma does it,
he's got
and
methods. The
Goblin Arsonist takes
Arsonist
a
and
turn off that
Magma.
as well. If you can get a Pitchburn Devils down.
Magma also. Yeah, and Magma turns on piling. This is not undoable. Slightly harder now. Slightly harder now. You need 4 that you draw a shock.
So
Then.
here we go. So you can
Joe
play
played
a
one
Pitchburn
shock,
Devils.
didn't he?
You can ping him down to 5. Goblin Arsonist takes him down
Yeah.
to 4. So
With threads
Dan
taken
doesn't
down
really
to
want
4,
to
yeah.
attack here.
Pitchburn
Unless he's
Devils.
got some kind of removal spell. Scorching Dragonfire, I think.
Yes, I think you have to play removal. Yeah, any sort of removal on the Devils, because you can't remove weird either,
Ooh.
because the trigger will take it to 4. Or you could just remove everything
Yeah.
at once. That's also pretty good. that is backbreaking.
I
It's
mean,
absolutely backbreaking.
Dan doesn't know that. Dan
That is
doesn't
pretty
know this, but
backbreaking.
he's
He's
down to
gonna put it
1,
to 1.
and Joe's got a Pitchburn Devils in hand.
He does have a Pitchburn Devils in hand, and I guess that does make it difficult. What do you need? You need exile
Yeah.
removal, right? So you need Scorching Dragonfire and you win. Essentially. In the
Because next
meantime,
turn.
you
Oh no,
play.
because there's a snare spinner on the other side of the field, so.
Yeah,
Well,
just
because
chump
he's got the
block
Gale
it,
Sweeper
right?
in hand. So
Without
if he plays
killing
Gale
it.
Sweeper, you can give the Pitchburn Devils flying.
You can then throw in the leader. But for this turn, you just wait, right? You can
Yeah,
waste your
so.
time this turn, and then you play the.
But I suppose because he's got a snare spinner which
You
has
attack
reach.
with Pitchburn Devils, right? Although, do you just leave the Pitchburn Devils up because it stops him attacking?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do, and then you just put the Gale Sweeper down and threaten lethal.
I think, yeah,
Bit of a
so there
stalemate here.
was.
Very interesting turn of play.
There's a couple of creatures that trample on the other side of the field.
Very
It's
interesting
a tough
turn
one.
play.
I think I might have just played the Valorous Steed here. I had an extra 2 blockers. So I have 3 blockers, one of which will kill the opponent if he attacks. Because now, if there's some. Oh, yeah, because. Oh,
I
is
just
there
wouldn't
a
have
Scorching
attacked with the
Dragonfire
pitch.
here? Is that. Ah, of course! Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's how much we know. Hobble Fiend kind of kills off the Pitchburn Devil's plan. Well, I mean, it's kind of relevant. Joe's threatening lethal with his flyer.
And
Joe was threatening lethal
that's
with his
lethal. That's
flyer.
that's done.
And now he's in quite a lot of trouble. Well, I mean, that was unfortunate to say the least.
Yeah, so I think the better play there was to have the Valorous Steed, play the Valorous Steed, have an extra few blockers up. So if you did have one of those ridiculous tricks,
Do,
then you could
do,
you could
do,
block that
I
out.
I think you just play the you just leave the
Pitchman Devils
um,
as a defender.
yeah, because
Yeah,
like unless Dan draws specifically Scorching Dragonfire, you
yeah,
can't attack for the rest of the game.
yeah, yeah,
Um, which then means you sit there with your 3/2 flyer. And yes, okay, it takes 2 turns. You have to wait. You go through the spider, and then you go through, and it's got removal, so you'll be playing it for a little while. But I think you just sit there with the Pitchman Devils on defense, right?
yeah. That's what I would do.
I think so
Definitely.
too. Especially given that Pitchman Devils wouldn't be able to get the lethal anyway by
Yeah.
attacking in. It would be waiting, queuing up to the next turn anyway.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
you
think
knew
that's
there
the
was a
way to.
Scorching Dragonfire in there, and that would have proved an issue eventually. But you only needed to get one damage through.
Yeah, well, because there's. See, I just realised.
Uh huh.
Goblin Arsonist would have been that one damage. You know, the one he
Well, it
cut
would
to the
have. Yeah.
bottom instead of. I mean, he wouldn't know, but. Whereas Fury, Double Fury did nothing.
Shall we have a
Okay.
look what went on in the other matches then?
Actually, I think it sounds like a great idea. And before we do, though, congratulations to Dan.
Yeah,
Very nice
congratulations,
deck.
Dan.
Very well played.
Winner of the very
And
first draft. I won't be able to take that away from him.
good job.
Got a
Well
title
done.
to defend now. Let's have a look how everybody else got on.
Alright, so here we see Gareth white black kind of removal value deck playing against a green blue Storley value deck. So a bit of a grind fest this one.
Yeah, and that enthralling hold feels it's not the best thing to grab, but it is pretty something good to grab. But at this point here, playing the Chrome Replicator in 2/4/4s, that is a strong position to be in this really grindy limited type of deck.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic card to see. And I think it's got the slight edge in this game. He's just putting the pressure on with the replicate. It's got more values.
Yeah.
Let's kind of see this grind out. End of a long slog by the looks of things. And it looks like the white black deck is just going to eat this
Yeah, a
out
lot of
for
beefy
Gareth.
creatures on the bottom end of the screen there, and you can see it
Yep,
was just too much for Marius.
you're going to struggle to deal with that in limited.
Hmm.
Anyway, in game two, we are in a hilarious similar situation where the
Yeah,
Gale Sweeper is once again enthralled, and the Fetid Imp is once again in its little Pokeball.
taking out
Uh,
a grown 5/5, pretty
Pretty
important
clutch
point there,
removal.
I think.
Yeah, very much so. We see Brontodon come down, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Now that would be quite a good thing for Gareth to have because he could get rid of some of those enchantments which are really affecting his creatures.
Absolutely. And again, we see the fight of the big creatures here.
Yeah.
And we're going to see some nice removal coming down here. Fear Resistance is just a very good card here. A bit of a
Yeah,
combat
so
trick.
gaining them a lot of life here as well, which I think is really important. Get the counter on it so it can now attack it that Brontodon quite happily. And he
Yep,
also has enough mana to follow up with another creature, so
really,
yeah.
really good turn there. One of the powers of Fear Resistance being so cheap. I think combat tricks, they're situational, but when you've got two grindy decks playing up, they can be really quite powerful.
Yeah.
And we see the white black deck is playing a lot of creatures.
Yeah,
Uh,
and because the Blue Cutton's got lifelink here, he can just attack with that Silver Smoke Ghoul if he wants, and it can come back.
yeah, absolutely, which is a nice little engine. I think it's applying a lot of pressure, and it's looking good for Gareth. Night Black deck. I do like it. All these swift responses, all this removal.
Yeah.
Big fan. And much later we get Finishing Blow coming out. I assume he's going to go with the Archer here though. With all the 3 power on the board. Because you probably don't block the
Yeah,
Knight, do you?
he's one short of lethal, just on board.
I think you can go in with the Knight on there because I don't think he's going to block it. He'll block one of the 3 power creatures. And if he does, who cares?
Yeah. Taking out the
Don't think
steed
it.
because
Very
yeah.
minor point. Don't think it really matters. This works nicely. Skeleton actually cleans up, and we see the board swing quite heavily into Gareth's favour with 2 pieces of removal. This is a
Yes.
situation you want to find yourself
So
in.
wiping the opponent's board by sacrificing a couple of his creatures, but he's able to. Oh, look at that! That's his acolyte.
Oh, Oh, good timing.
Yeah. Such a strong
He's just
card, that.
very much so, very much so. And finishing below, killing that poor little piggy to put an end to poor Marius's dreams
Still
of
not
winning
quite
that
lethal,
round.
but as near as you can
I
be.
think the game is escaping from him though.
Yeah. I mean, 1 life against 21 life. Oh,
Yep.
he's ready in the good game. There we go. There we go.
Yep. There you go. Good game. That was a good round,
The other
wasn't
game
it?
we're looking at here, James. So James versus Sam. James on the bottom, Sam on the top. James, we watched in the very first round, and he got ran over by Joe with his red white aggro deck. He's facing another red white aggro deck here. Both these players are on 2 wins.
Absolutely. And we see Goblin Arsonist here
Yeah,
showing its value once again.
yeah.
Good red
The
creature.
aggro just coming through, and I mean, Wildwood Scourge is pretty good here, but not for what's going on. He's opting for that track down. He's at 19 life, but it doesn't take very long for his opponent just to whittle him down and just take him out
And then you
way
see the
too
result
quickly.
of that.
Yeah. So, like we saw
Once
in the
again, we
first
see
round, that James, if he's given a chance to take the advantage, he does get there eventually. Now, this is game 2. You can see he's had these traditional slow starts. All he's managed to play his portcullis fine. He's trying to frost breath here to slow the opponent down. He's able to tap to ping and put a counter on his other magma. So that's, giving his opponent quite a good position here.
Yep. Well, yeah, not so much give, but your opponent has a good answer. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think that feat of resistance is really, really good. Not only does it negate your opponent's removal spell, but it powers up your creature a little bit. He,
So it looks like we skip forward a little bit here.
yeah. So just he's got the ghost light down. That weight of waves, that feels like it's going to be really good against go wide small creature aggro deck. Doesn't quite have the mana for it
Yeah.
yet, but he does have a removal spell in hand. He does have a counter spell in hand, and he's got the shipwreck down so to get a spell back from the graveyard.
Yeah, his deck looks quite heavy. Game looks quite heavily in James's favour. He's very much stabilised by looks of it.
Yeah, and he's just trying to keep
We
those
see the
blockers up
Frost
until
Breath
he
has
can
come
get that
back.
weight waves down. He's got his game plan. He knows what he's doing.
Well, I mean, that's the Burn Bright does a lot of work here. It's just not necessarily how you want to use that card, is it? When your opponent's on 13 life,
True.
it's fine. Like I don't think it's a
I think
wrong
he's just
play or
trying to
anything.
get through as much
But
damage as he can. He knew that these creatures had trample.
I think this is the problem. Is there's so many creatures in the way, and we see him clearing the way here, and there's just more creatures to come. In this case, it's giant 7/7.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh no,
I
it's not.
think having played against the deck, if I was in Sam's position and only seen round one, only seen game one, sorry, knowing that the deck kind of durdles and doesn't do a huge amount, not seeing any big blockers, really, knowing that I've got 2 magmas out here,
Yep.
I would be feeling quite good.
Yeah, potentially. I definitely that Frostbeth was wrong. It should have been played
Well, true.
in
But you
upkeep.
see at this point, just getting that weight of waves down, big beefy creature, really hard to deal with, shrinks all of his creatures.
7/7 versus 1/2. Yep, that's gonna be pretty hard to
Yeah,
get
I mean,
through.
even that Alpine Watchdog there turns it into a 1-2.
As much as I love 2 drops, a 2 mana 1/2 Intelligence is not a good card. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. You get back.
Oh yeah.
What's he going to get back? Removal spell? Or the Frost Breath?
I think you get the Frostbreath back, right? And then you just end the game.
You got the removal spell back.
Anyway, remove the 1/2,
Yeah.
and then it looks like he's not going to be able to
Yeah,
deal with
just
this
it was way too
7/7.
much. Game 3, similar kind of thing happened. Got a little bit of a blocker up there. Sam had a bad mulligan in this one as well. I think he had a mulligan in a 6. So you can see not getting that
That's
nice
not good.
explosive start that he needed. Starts trying
Yeah,
to fight
quite
back
far
there, but
behind.
you see that Rada in James's hand there. I think that's just going to be a bit too much for.
For him to deal with. I would agree with you. So, well, I mean, here you go. It's 12/12 Rider. That's pretty
Yeah,
obnoxious.
Lofty Denial. There's enough mana open let to counter it, but what it does do is it triggers prowess.
Which will get the Wardy Bathrooms up to
Yeah.
4.
So
And then.
it's still a 4/4 against a 4/4, but that life goes on, which we kind of took the mickey out of a little bit in the first round.
And that will not back
Yeah,
down.
but it was that little extra spell which allowed him to win through there.
It triggers. There was a situation where it did
And
something
just
useful.
way too much.
I
That
accept
Rada is
And
scary once you get the lands out there. You cannot deal with it.
God, unfortunate for Sam. I was ashamed that, but it looked like a
Yeah, I
good
mean, I don't
match.
know about you, but I really enjoyed our first draft here.
Oh, it was great. I had good
Next
fun.
week we've
Thank you.
got another M21 draft coming up. That should take almost until the release of the Zendikar set in September, and we have plans to get a Zendikar draft out nice and soon after release for everybody to see. So keep your eyes peeled for next week when we'll have the draft portion of another M21 draft. Hit subscribe so you make sure that you get the notifications when that comes out, and I look forward to seeing you there.
See you then.